Vice President-elect Kamala Harris making her first trip back to the Peach State since the November election, with her one and only stop being in Columbus Monday. As of right now, just a lot of anticipation, excitement here. Pretty much everyone's eyes glued to that TV screen, anxiously watching these results. While the voters have spoken, Joe Biden received a new title, President-elect. Saturday, Biden spoke to a deeply divided nation.
We hear the cheers behind you.
Hey, Jason Barber. Yeah, I believe those cheers are because Trump has just been called the winner of Florida. Penn says he's here in Columbus because he stands with President Trump. He says he also stands with Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, and that Georgia needs to hold the line. The polls are closed now in Georgia, and I just checked in with her press secretary, who tells me that they are cautiously optimistic. She says the senator feels good and they laid everything out on the line in their campaign. Days of being on edge, a new president has been projected in the 2020 election. Campaigns are not as likely to contact people who go out and vote every election and vote for the same party. They're more looking for people who are on the fence. Two campaign buses rolling into the Chattahoochee Valley Wednesday, with two of Georgia's U.S. Senate candidates energizing voters.
Stay vote!
Republican Senator David Perdue making a stop on his Win Georgia Save America bus tour in Catala.
The eyes of America, I'm talking about everybody outside Georgia, are on us right now.
And Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff bringing his health, jobs, and justice bus tour to Columbus.
You're feeling hope because we have the opportunity now, Columbus, to write the next chapter in American history.
Both are encouraging early voting.
We got to get out and vote for health, for jobs, for justice. We can make health care affordable for every family. We can recover economically from this pandemic and invest in infrastructure. And we can pass a new Civil Rights Act to secure equal justice for all.
This leftist radical socialist agenda that would defund the police, open our borders, have illegal immigrants voting. It would take away our private health insurance, and it would bring us the Green New Deal that we cannot afford. It would cost every Georgian $65,000 per year. It's just not possible.
They also spoke about the pandemic. Perdue says along with bringing a COVID vaccine to the country in less than a year, he's also focusing on helping Georgians get through the back end of the pandemic.
We brought $47 billion to Georgia in the first round of CARES that helped us save 1.5 million jobs in Georgia under the Paycheck Protection Program. So we're back at it, really trying to get help. We've been blocked several times by the Democrats.
Ossoff says testing and vaccines should be free for every American as part of an ambitious COVID relief package.
We need to invest in infrastructure and job creation in order to grow the economy out of this crisis. And in order to make those kinds of changes, in order to ensure that everyone has access to the vaccine, folks got to get out to the polls and vote. It's been a pretty busy runoff election day for Senator Kelly Loeffler so far. She joined supporters out here in Sandy Springs this morning for sign waving. The senator saying that her campaign has tremendous momentum heading into today's runoff because she says Georgians know that it's the American dream they're voting for on the ballot. I asked her how confident she is heading into tonight, and she says she's pretty confident. If they win, she says that's because Georgians got out to vote. If they lose, the senator says that would be because Georgians didn't get out to vote. She'll be holding a watch party at the Grand Hyatt tonight, and we'll be there and bring you the latest details as those results start coming in. In Sandy Springs, Brennan Ray, Gray TV. Several measures in the proposals for stricter voting guidelines introduced in the Georgia Senate include tightening up requirements for Georgians to vote by mail-in ballots. Georgia lawmakers are discussing Republican-backed Senate bills that would tighten up Georgia's voting requirements, including limiting absentee voting only to those who fall under certain circumstances like age or disability, requiring a photo ID for those who do vote absentee by mail, and blocking third-party groups from sending out absentee ballot applications. Alton Russell with the Columbus-Muskogee County Republican says he thinks the proposed legislation is a step in the right direction.
I am convinced that what we need to do is tighten up the laws, the voting laws, to make and to reduce the ability for fraud.
Personally and professionally, I feel that this is just a knee-jerk retaliation tactic for those who have seen that there's a shift occurring in Georgia where there are more persons requesting absentee ballots, and especially minorities.
Georgia's current no-excuse absentee voting policy, meaning voters don't have to give a reason to vote absentee, was introduced in 2005 by a Republican-controlled legislature.
So you're telling me that this system has worked well when you were on the winning side, right? But now that the outcome has turned out differently, it's time to change the game. And so I think I feel it's unfair.
We do think that every legal vote should be cast, every legal vote should be counted, period. Now, if you're not eligible to vote, well then we're not suppressing the vote. I mean, we're just saying if you're not legal and you don't live in Georgia or you don't live in the county, and well, then you don't get to vote.
If the legislation passes, Georgia would join 16 other states that require voters to provide a reason to vote outside a polling place. The proposals also aim to ban drop boxes like this one, where voters were able to drop off their absentee ballots. Political science professor at Columbus State University, Jacob Holt, says polling numbers indicate the presidential election will be close in the state of Georgia.
If Georgia votes Democrat, it's likely it doesn't matter, because likely that means Joe Biden's won by enough electoral votes that Georgia doesn't matter. For Donald Trump, though, there's really no path to victory for him if he does not carry Georgia. So that's really its big thing is Georgia is a must-win state for Trump. It is more of an icing on the cake state for Joe Biden. We're
not letting up. We think that we got to keep going all the way through November the 4th. But I feel good about what we're doing in Georgia.
So polling numbers look great. We are not giving up. We're not letting up. And that's why a lot of people are coming to Georgia, because we really are motivated to do this.
While being only days away from the election, the Bidens both have campaign visits planned in Georgia this week. President Trump also recently made a stop in the Peach State.
That's why they're really coming here. Is this state is probably going to be a very close election. I think also it says not just that we have a close presidential election, but we have other elections about they're going to be close.
These other elections include two competitive U.S. Senate races between incumbent Republican Senator David Perdue and Jon Ossoff, and the special election for former Senator Johnny Isakson's seat.
It's quite possible that winning one of those seats would have the Democrats in the majority in the U.S. Senate.